All right, my earlier video, I had mentioned that this Oldsmobile is running really, really good. And I did not want to pull that 670 off there to put on my Firebird. Well, I did. I took this off and put it on my Firebird. And we'll go in the other shop and pick up where I'm leaving off here. And here is that 850 that is just too much for this motor. Way too much. This is bored and stroked to a 461. And you know Pontiacs, you're not going to tack them out further than 5,500. At least I wouldn't think you would. So I'm going to have to remove this. And now I'm stuck with a very expensive carburetor that I'm not going to be able to use anywhere on anything I've got. So I'll probably end up selling it and cut some of my losses. It's just the way it is. But it'll be a few days before the 670 will get here. And yeah, I thought about going with a 750. But I think smaller would be a little better for me at this point. You know, I'm not going to be drag racing it. So I just want a car I can drive out and enjoy. So when I get the other carburetor back, I'll finish tuning this all up and getting it set up and stuff. I want to go ahead and touch some base with you on some things here in a little bit. So hang on. Okay, in my last video, which was just a couple days ago, I was talking about this loading up and that and switching carburetors around. So I didn't want to, but I did. But I did absolutely no adjustments whatsoever. I really didn't want to mess up that Oldsmobile. It's running way, way too good and stuff. So don't want to screw that over. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. Also in the last video, I had mentioned that 77 Can-Am. More than mentioned it, I talked to it for quite a bit. And the gentleman I met with, who is a really nice guy. Last night, he got back to me on that Can-Am, and he texted me, hey, your friend that you just moved them Oldsmobiles from, I think I bought a Buick from him many, 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 many years ago. And so I don't know, I never knew him to own a Buick, but he might have and stuff. And we mentioned, you know, that where he worked. And I said, well, you know what? I'll be talking to my friend tonight from Florida, and I'll see. So I got a hold of my friend, and he's like, oh my gosh. He goes, that is the same guy. He said, I worked with his dad. He said, he bought that car from me long, long time ago. And I said, what a small world. You know, I run into a car guy that you dealt with so long ago and stuff. And we talked for a little while on the phone and stuff. But anyway, and I said goodbye and everything. Well, I messaged the guy back and let him know, hey, yeah, my buddy did sell you that car and everything. And he had told me that in trying to sell me that Can-Am, that his friend had told him a while back that if he ever got rid of it, he wanted first shot at it. And I thought, great, you know, that 99% basically just went to 100%. I'm not going to get that car. You know, going to sell it to his buddy cheaper than it would have sold to me anyway. You know, at least I would think so. I would sell stuff to my friends cheaper than I would someone I don't really know. And I said, well, I guess that one's going to be out of the picture. You know, and I waited. And you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to turn this camera around. So hang on a second. And look. That's right. I should have said I was 100% sure I wasn't going to get that car. Yeah, I should have said 100% because I got a message this morning that his friend is going to take the car. Surprise, surprise. And we all know what's going to happen to that car. You know, I don't know his friend, but I've seen it over and over and over. There's different scenarios here. You know, one, he didn't want to sell the car, and this is a way for me to leave him alone, and the car will stay where it's at. Two, his friend did buy the car, and friend's going to get the car, and it's going to sit behind another garage somewhere and rot. Or his friend will take it home, which is scenario 3, and blow it apart. And in 10 years, it's still going to be sitting in their garage totally blown apart and no means of fixing it. And 10 years from now, I'll be gone. Well, I keep telling my wife that, but she says I'm full of shit. I'm going to live a long time. But I'll be definitely too old to be working on cars. So I can almost guarantee, and since I was throwing percentages out earlier, I say 99% here, 99% there, now I can actually say 100%. I'll throw a percentage at you. I'm 100% sure no one will ever see that car again. That car will never be on the road. That car will never be at a show. That car is going to rot. Another one lost to people with good intentions. You know, it's sad. So I lost out on another one. It upsets me, but it doesn't, you know, because I really do believe that the cars I have gotten because it was meant to be. I've lost out on gazillions of cars. Gazillions. I mean, and every time it's always like, it was not meant to be. It wasn't meant to be my car. It was meant to be somebody else's car. And that's really how I look at it. It would have been fantastic to own that car. I'm telling you, I think I could have done an ungodly amount of work on it and made that car look better than new when it came out of the showroom. And that's one of those cars that after seeing it and researching it, it would have never left my ownership. That's true. It would have never been sold. It would have been maybe passed down, or after I was gone, it might have been sold. But as long as I was alive, that car would have never, ever been sold, would have never left my possession. So that's kind of sad on my side. And it's kind of sad that, man, I missed out on a 66 GTO that I should have just jumped on and bought and not waited for the Can-Am. You know, stupidity right here, stupidity. My brother-in-law, he came up from Georgia just like a week ago, and we were talking, and an acquaintance he knows has a couple cars sitting behind his house in Georgia. Imagine that. People in Georgia are just like people here in Indiana. I guess there's a Firebird and a fastback Mustang sitting out in the back, rotting into the ground. I was going to tell him, hey, next time you come up this way, just load that fastback up on your trailer and bring it with you. You know, I'll redo a fastback, you know, no problem. So my search is going to continue on for another car. And I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story, but ever since I was 15 and I'm 61, I have been buying cars. Yeah, 15, I bought my first car. And I have kept documentation as far as a list of the cars I bought, the years, and how much I paid for them. And this, well, not this, but this Mustang is number 199. 199. I was really feeling that Can-Am was going to be my 200th car to own in my lifetime, and probably my last. So disappointed, but not pissed. You know, I'm sure that car guy and I will cross paths again sometime. He, like I say, he was really a nice guy, and he probably has good intentions. He probably didn't think about his buddy at the time. I really don't know. But a friend of mine I talking to today, I was telling him, hey, I missed out on that. And he goes, and he said something that made me stop and go, wow, didn't think about that. He said, and you know, now I'm looking back at it and you're going to think, yeah, that's kind of weird. Why on earth would the guy selling the car, knowing that his friend was supposed to get first shot at it, even get a hold of you? And once he got a hold of you, why on God's earth would he invite you up to take a look at it and check it out if he had no intentions to sell it to you and knew his buddy had first shot at it? You know, and I thought, oh, wow, you're right. I never even considered that. You know, if I tell my friend, hey, if I go to sell this car, you're getting first shot, he's the first guy I call if I'm selling anything. He's the first one. Hey, come on out, let's talk. What do you think? And I don't tell anyone else it's for sale. I don't post it for sale. My buddy's going to get first shot if that's what I agreed to. So, that was something for me to think about. I didn't at the time, but I do now. But wow. Like I said, hopefully the car won't go and be scrap in 20 years. But, people have good intentions. They really do. And it never seems to work out that way. Like I say, it was going to be my next project, so that would have been 3 to 5 years, maybe longer, and I would have been driving that car, and I would have had it on the road, and I would have been showing it. But, again, my loss. I can rant and rave here about it, but it's in the past at this point, so I'm going to move on. I'm still looking for something. Like I say, maybe it should just come to me, and maybe I should quit looking, and one will fall in my lap. But, I'll still search the ads, and this summer's coming, car shows are coming. I'll be at them. I'll be discussing it with other members and car people, and I'm sure something will pop up. And when it does, you'll be the first to know. Thanks for watching my video, and please consider subscribing if you have not already. And please like and share. Later.